So this is Thriving Thursday. Now, I am super excited. We had Erin Speer in here last time, and we talked about phases of friendship. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And then we talked about a little bit about kind of how we met and connected and how vital connections are. Now, today we want to talk about differences in friendship, like not necessarily conflict, but being different people, being from different backgrounds, being from different parts of the world, and kind of how that could make or break a friendship. Especially in this climate. So Thriving Thursday. Hey, I'm just going to say, look, don't just survive in friendship, relationship, thrive. What do I mean by that? If you're afraid to step out and make friends, lean in and just say hi. Right? That's thriving. Surviving would be, oh my gosh, I can't do it. I'm so afraid. I'm going to be, oh my goodness, I just don't know if it's going to work out. Oh Lord Jesus. But thriving would be, hi, my name is, nice to meet you. And then talk about pickles or talk about a recipe. Apparently Monique and Erin can talk to a lot of people in the grocery store. That is, and maybe do it in the grocery store. That is a place for conversation. Maybe say, you've got a lot of groceries in your basket. How are you going to pay for that? No, I'm just joking. It's just a joke. That's not thriving. That's stupid. But just step out and say, hey. All right. So again, we've got Erin Speer on with us. Hey, Erin, how are you?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Doing well. So we're wearing our flannel. You like flannel for Thursday? So
it's cold up here, okay?
Yeah. Just take a couple seconds. Do me a favor. Just take a couple seconds and tell me what friendship means to you.
Oh, wow. It means the world. Friendship gets me through day-to-day life. Knowing that I have somebody I can lean on, if it's even just a text message, hey, I need prayer. I have friends that don't even ask why. I mean, obviously we know the why is important, but sometimes all I have is a moment to say, pray for me. I'm struggling, you know? Friendship is, my kids is acting up and I'm fixing to tell them to go get their own Switch because please help me not do that. And I got friends that will talk me down. It's and then to be there for somebody else. Even that builds me up. That blesses me to be able to be a blessing to a friend and be there for them.
So I want to jump right into it. Let's just hash this out. So within the last, I would say since May, you and I, we've talked a lot about just being what it means in this country right now. With George Floyd, with Ahmaud Arbery, with the elections, with just all kinds of things. We've talked about all kinds of differences. And of course, you can look and see that we are from different races.
Really?
Okay, don't be funny. I mean, I know I'm really light, but yeah. We all come in different shades.
So do we. I get darker in the summer.
Okay, obviously it's not summertime. Okay. And, different political affiliations, I had Flip Mentor on here talking about shaming and blaming. We talked about Facebook and just all of the different things that are going on right now in the world.
Yeah.
And, it's easy to get caught up in that. It was easy for our friendship to implode because of the climate within the country. I wanted to kind of go into what that looked like for us, just as we were, as I told you before, we were on the phone a lot and we talked, we prayed. We believe that that's vital. And I tell you this, I'm going to say this, regardless of your religious affiliation or things of that nature, whether you choose to believe in God, not believe in God, I've chosen that believing in God, Christianity is the right way to go, is the best way to be. Erin has too. Obviously, she's a pastor of a church. But I believe that our times of prayer connected us in a way that we could not have connected by just talking.
Agreed.
Would you agree with that? Because praying, and this is not a prayer session, but praying obviously is a very intimate thing because you're sharing to God your most intimate thoughts, your most intimate cares, the things that really matter to you the most, right?
Yep.
And a lot of us do prayer alone for that very reason, like praying in front of people for that very reason, like, God, this is really bothering me. But to have that connection with someone else and say, look, these are the things that really touch my heart. It's like we went past all the steps of friendship and we just went right in. It was like, these are the most intimate parts of my life. I need you to pray for them right now. And to me, it felt like our friendship went from kind of really superficial to very, very deep, very quickly, because we knew each other in prayer. I heard Leanne Sosby, shout out to Miss Leanne from prayer school at Rhema, and now she has a church in Texas. But I heard her say that she had some heart friends and some very dear friends, and she became very dear and close to them in times of prayer. And I just say, Erin and I, that's where we connected. That's where our deepest connection is in times of prayer.
Yep.
Right? So, like I said, it's not a spiel. It's not an advertisement. It's just where we are, who we are, and what we do, and what's connected us. So let's jump into this. So Ahmaud Arbery, the situation in Georgia happens, and you and I are on the phone. We're talking about the situation. This could be very delicate. A very delicate. This could have, like I said, it could have easily imploded. What were some of your thoughts when I brought this out and up, when I started talking about this? Because I've very obviously been very vocal from a Christian standpoint about these topics. So what were you thinking when I brought these topics to you as something very intimate and deeply close to my heart?
Yeah. I'm just going to be completely 100 right now. I was nervous. I was afraid that I could lose a good friend, because I know this is a very sensitive topic, and not because of how I feel about it, but if one little thing that I say or a question that I ask hurts you, which would not be my intention at all. I've asked you a lot of questions because I have certain other friends of color that we ask each other questions. We became that person that, cultural questions. I mean, we were able to do that on a level that a lot of people on both sides find offensive. We got looks for that. Like, did you really just ask her that question? And she answered it because she knows my heart. So I was just like, Lord, I know she knows my heart, but I know this is a really sensitive time right now, a very emotional time, a really hard time. And I don't know what it is to be on that end of it. But I would like to let her know that I want more. I want to know more. I want to go deeper with you on this. I'll never be able to truly feel what you feel. But I want to get more into this so that I'm with you. I'm doing my best to understand. I can't say I understand because we know that means actually walking something out. But my heart has always just been to be there for you, to be able to pray about this for you, and to always be open and not shut myself off from any of it.
Yeah.
So I was scared.
You say you were scared?
A little scared to have that conversation brought up, to be perfectly honest.
So let me just kind of tell you what my feelings were. I felt like I could tell you anything.
Good.
So that's why I brought it up. Right?
Yeah.
I felt like you would hear me for who I was, for the person that I had been to you. You would hear my heart, and my concern, and you wouldn't be dismissive of those concerns that I had. What I wasn't expecting was how open you were. I wasn't expecting the level of openness, because I felt like, because you haven't walked in this place, or you haven't walked in my shoes, or haven't really had the concerns that I've had, that you would be like, well, I mean, I understand that, but you really need to kind of move on from that. And you can't live your life this way, and you can't do this. You can't be this way. You can't feel that way. You just need to kind of get over that and, believe the Bible and just move on.
Yeah.
And you didn't say that to me. I was shocked. Seriously, I was really shocked. Yeah. Let's just kind of go all the way into this. I'm not your first Black friend, obviously, right?
No, I did grow up right in Detroit, basically.
Yeah. So you grew up in Detroit. We alluded to a little earlier that your family had opened its home to all kinds of kids of all colors, nationalities, things of that nature. So you didn't grow up necessarily not having people of color as friends.
Yep.
Yeah. And even though you were in homeschool, you still had friendships, kind of, just with everybody.
Yeah.
And then obviously, going to one of the largest African-American churches in the Detroit area for how long did you go? How long were you there?
4 years, 5 years.
Yeah. Going to one of the largest African-American churches in the Detroit, Michigan area. You were no stranger to that. So just tell me, like, I know this was a very sensitive topic, but how did you get to the place where you were so open to other people, not just, the people in your neighborhood and things of that nature, but to even go to an African-American church and sit under an African-American pastor and really love and respect and admire and make friends with African-American people?
Yeah, well, from when I was little, like I said, my folks didn't teach us to see anybody other than for who they were on the inside, their character. And to make friends that way, hook up with the kind of people that you want to become. So I've never really looked at the hard shell, the exterior, too much. And I don't know if that's just my upbringing or if it's partly my personality, but I always look to the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so sitting under an African-American pastor, was he preaching the word of God? Did the Lord direct me to that church with my 3 very white children? Did we stick out like a sore thumb? Yeah, but I was never uncomfortable because God called me there.
Yeah.
Because that was the word I needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That was the place I needed to be.
Yeah.
And so even when I made friends, it was just, who are they as a person?
Yeah.
What is their character? What are they striving for? Where do they stand with God truly? And how do they feel about me being a single mom with my kids? I had a lot of good relationships at church, and not one of them looked at me and my finger lacking a ring and 3 children and went, oh, I get that a lot in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd look at my ring finger and see nothing, and then see the kids and snub me.
Yeah.
You don't know why I'm single.
Yeah.
And I'm doing what I can for my babies.
Yeah.
I didn't get that at the church. Honestly, a lot of times growing up where I did, we were friends with all the neighborhood kids. And so in our neighborhood, there was a lot of African-American kids. I always found that it almost feels like more homey, more like when you're with us, we got you.
Yeah.
In that community.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really put any words to it until you and I talked about it one day.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
Once y'all get tight, it's family.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have friends that my kids call auntie.
Yeah.
From my old church, and they love it. And they're like, oh, it's my babies. It's culturally different than typically how the white culture is. We're much more standoffish. And it feels cold sometimes. Like there are some friends I have that are white that I can't just walk into their house and open their fridge. I would ask politely from a chair at the table, could I have a glass of water?
Yeah.
But then I have African-American friends that I could walk into their house today and I haven't seen them in 5 years. They'd be like, come on in, girl. And I'll go out right up to the fridge and grab out whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even be a thought in their mind like, oh, that's rude.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's different, but I don't feel like there's really outside of the shell. I mean, the soul is the same.
Yeah.
But do we need to know from the shell standpoint? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know what's going on right now in America, and it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
I mean, I know there are areas that we had a young Black family in our co-op, and we were in a city, and he was like, I can't walk to lunch with y'all. This city hates us. I will get thrown into the back of a cop car just for walking down the street with white girls. Really? Okay, what do you want? We'll bring it back. We won't even sit there and eat. We'll walk to McDonald's and we'll bring it back and eat with you. What do you want? It's cool. We're not going to leave you out.
Yeah.
None of us could drive at the time, so we had to walk. Otherwise, we would have driven. But we're like, yeah, we got you. But then my dad is saying, don't go down into Detroit after dark as a young white female. Okay. Am I afraid? No. Do I heed my father's advice because he works down there? I do. But I don't fear it because I don't fear the people.
Yeah.
I fear people as a whole who wish to do harm.
Yeah.
Whoever they are.
Yeah. No matter what the shell looks like.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this just because it's just because we're here and we're having this conversation. So I know for me personally, I have talked about this before, moving, Monique and I talked a little bit about that, moving from Louisville, Kentucky to be a, predominantly Black community to living in Branson with a predominantly white community, having to get along and make friends. I had a friend, she just reached out to me, a white friend. We were from the same state and we met in Missouri, which was really bizarre. She had come from Texas to Missouri and I had come from Kentucky to Missouri, and we clicked. She loved my kids, treated my kids like they were her own. She didn't have any children at the time. She has a 1-year-old and she's pregnant with her second baby. Okay, we're the same age. I'm not gonna tell you what X is, but she's been married for a pretty long time, but they're having their second child. But at the time, my babies were young and we were out, and she would take them right along with us. We'd go to the mall and shop and things of that nature. And she didn't have a problem with me being, me having kids and having to take them wherever we went. We went roller skating for my birthday one time. And she hated skating. She fell like 5 or 6 times. But I had the courage and I was pushing a little buggy. She had my oldest son and my middle child at the time. He was my youngest at the time, but I had him in the little buggy and we were just skating around the rink. She had fallen like 5 times and she was like, I really hate skating, but I love you. So,
Aww.
And for me, like that was like, a genuine friendship that I like, somebody that was celebrating me. So it had opened me up to a little bit more. And then when I got here, it was a little while before, I met this one person. And, it took me a little bit because we had gone past where my one friend in Missouri was to kind of a deeper level. And it was hard for me. I had to deal with a lot of the biases. Because there was a lot of ugly things there. And a lot of ways that I was trying to prevent this going any deeper, but she worked on me and I was able to like truly open up. So for me personally, that individual is like my family. Like she's like my sister, and no matter what happens or what has happened, like she will always have that place for me, because once you get past that layer,
you can eat out of the
fridge. You are in, like you have made it past the threshold and we are just gooey on the inside. So when you and I connected, it was just like, I didn't deal with I didn't have the struggle that I had before, because I wasn't trying to tear down those thoughts and those beliefs. I had already gone through that process and I was ready, kind of to be in friendship with you, on that level. Yeah. So that's just like a little bit of me.
Yeah.
on that regard. Do you get that sense? Do you feel like we struggled trying to be friends, or do you feel like it just was kind of like hand
No,
in glove
I
and
feel
we
like it just
just,
was there. It was
yeah,
just there. I can't even put a finger on what it was, but it just, there was like we'd never not been friends.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's true. I don't know that I've met anybody like that before. Like we should have been friends from.
You're welcome.
We should have been friends forever. Like, no joke. We should have been. Like, I should have knew you a long time ago.
Yes.
But I'll say this. You and I, we were at school together. We went to school together when we went to Rhema, and we never connected.
That was one of the times that being the single mom, I didn't really have time for friends.
Yeah.
I can get the kids to school, go to work, get home, feed the kids, study, go to bed,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And I wish I'd had more time to have gotten to know you, to have hung out with more people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that year I was like going through a lot too. Like it was really hard for me to be in school. Like it was a fight every day. I'm like, why am I here? I was really kind of grumpy. So it was probably good that we didn't talk. Didn't get to know each other. But we have, and it's been good. Have you ever had experiences where, because you said you're afraid when I had brought these concerns up to you. Just recently, I had brought some concerns to you. Did you have the same fear, or did you feel like you could be more open with me about where you stood?
No, I feel like I can be more open now. I mean, I think that was our first like, big thing that we talked about, really, that could have really divided us. Like, I mean, sharing life and sharing maybe struggles with family and stuff, you can have whatever opinion you want, but you're not, this was a totally different animal.
Mm-hmm.
No, I didn't have the same level. Is there always a little bit of a hesitation? Yes. But I think it's because there's always a little part of me that is concerned that I could lose a really good friend.
Yeah.
A friend that I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to be careful too, to be respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I want to be your friend or not, I'm not trying to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And so there's always like, how can I say what's on my heart so that they hear my heart and they don't just feel hurt?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's always just that little bit of caution right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not fear this time, but just there's little bits of caution.
Yeah. You had mentioned the presidential election and just a lot of I think that's been my concern. There's a lot that has gone on, and I'm not really sure, just in our world, being Christian, and I don't know that it has been this charged, politically charged, um, in our arena or circle, so to speak, as it is right now. Yeah. And I want to say this very delicately, because I'm not trying to offend, and I'm not passing judgment. That's not my heart. So please understand that I'm not doing that. But I do believe that to some degree we have really lifted up politics and the candidates and their platforms way higher than we're lifting up the value and care for each other. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, I have really, with the climate of the things that have transpired this year, it's made me take a step back and really evaluate what I believe and evaluate what I stand for and what I don't stand for. And I think you've done the same thing too, Erin. Yeah. What would you say to just our community about politics and friendship?
Cool. If you're one that can't separate the two, don't talk about it. If you value the friendship that much and you have such a strong stance and you're one of those that you are right and that's it, then I wouldn't even bring it up. I know people like that and they bring it up and I just smile and nod because I know no matter what I say, they don't want to hear how I feel about it. They're right. And so in order to keep that relationship, I don't really respond because I don't think that's something that is worth losing a friend over, because these politicians come and go, and whoever gets voted in, they're going to get my prayer and it's going to be what it is. The only way we can make a difference is to get before the Lord, or, see the issues, see the person, and go put our ballot in the box. Because whether you vote or not, you are voting. I mean, we both know that. If I don't sign my name to want to put my ballot in, that's still giving a vote one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
We are the deciding vote, as they say. But I don't think that it's worth losing a friend over.
What about the issues? I mean, say, for example, and I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree, this is just an example. Say, for instance, I'm pro-choice and
Okay.
you're pro-life, or vice versa. You're pro-choice, I'm pro-life.
Okay.
Does that determine whether or not we can be friends, or do you pass judgment on me because I have made a decision to disagree with you?
No. To me, it does not.
So how do you handle that? We have a conversation and we talk about the issues. How do you handle that? How do you approach that to where it doesn't get to the point to where we've exploded and years of investment are gone away?
Okay, say you're bringing up and it's opposing. You're bringing it to me and you're talking and I listen to, because you believe what you believe for a reason. You have your views for a reason and they're valid. They're yours. You're allowed to own them. I'm not the one that can decide that you can't. And so I listen. And I do this. I try to respond in a way that says I heard you. And then I try to say, I understand that you feel that it's a woman's choice for XYZ. I feel it isn't, but these are my reasons. But we can leave that on the table right there like that, because I love you. And even if you did make that choice and I knew you were pregnant and you chose not to have that baby, I'm not gonna love you any less. I'm gonna walk through it with you. I mean, I've lost one to miscarriage and that's hard. I'm not gonna leave another woman for whatever her choice, whatever her reason, because I'm not walking in her shoes. Like I said, all those people that looked at me like, oh, you're not wearing a ring and you have kids. You're not walking in my shoes. You don't know why. Heck, my finger could just be swollen today and I can't put it on. You don't know. So I don't feel like that's my place to judge or to say that you're wrong and I'm right. Everybody has their own walk in life.
And we have one judge.
And I'm not going to go before him and say that he needs to judge anybody.
Yeah, that's good. But you know what? We are out of time. Oh, I really wanted to ask you so many more questions, but we are out of time. So on this Thriving Thursday, I want to encourage you to take the first step. Don't just survive. Like Erin was saying, we may not necessarily agree with the person that's sitting on the other side of the table, but that friendship, that relationship is valuable. People are valuable. Their beliefs change. We change over time. There's circumstances and situations change, and we change our viewpoint based on those situations and circumstances. And just because somebody doesn't necessarily agree the same way that you do, it doesn't make it invalid. I think that's where we come across, we feel like we're right. So we think that the opposing side is invalid. It's not substantiated. You make no sense. Well, whether you think they make sense or not, their creator cares for them. And there's a scripture in the book of Romans that says, who am I to judge another man's servant? It's before that man, that the master, that he stands or falls. But God is able to make him stand. So on this Thriving Thursday, take that first step. Say hi. If you don't know how to make friends, talk to them about pickles or recipes in the grocery store. Don't ask them how much it costs. And make a choice to value the person. And don't be concerned about the opinion. Opinions change. Things change. But love doesn't. Love never fails. Until next time, we'll see you then. Bye.